Okay, so in this video, we're going to be looking at the elasticity of demand, which basically looks at a very specific part of demand, and that is how much consumers respond to a change in price. So we want to look at, we know the law of demand means when you change the price, you're going to change demand. Up the price, lower the demand. Lower the price, higher the demand. But how much of that change is going to happen? So you either have something is extremely sensitive or at least sensitive to the change in price, which means that it's elastic. So you have things that are going to reflect these specific, so you have things that are going to reflect that sensitivity. For example, things that would be sensitive to a change in price would be like soda, maybe shoes, designer handbags. So when you have these specific things, people are going to react to that change in price. You get a significant change in price or even a lower price, you might have a significant change in the demand. But there's also then the other side, which means that you're really not going to have a very reactive change to the price. Usually this happens with things that are really quite important, and they're considered inelastic. So the examples for things that could be inelastic, you have, gas, you have electricity, maybe water. They're things that people really need. So if you raise the price, you might not see a huge change in that demand. Lower the price, you're still not going to see a huge change in demand. It's kind of constant. So now we need to see, how do we see this? How do we figure it out? And how do we tell if something is elastic? And that is unfortunately where math gets introduced in economics. So we need to calculate it. And how we do that is using a very simple formula. Now there are two steps to the formula because we have to do one thing first and then we can do the other. The actual elasticity formula is the percentage change in quantity demanded over the percentage change in price. Now I said there were two steps. So in order to do the actual formula for elasticity, we have to have percentage. So, and that means we need to calculate something first. So this is really step 2. And then we need to find the percentage change, which is step 1. So there's a little line there. So you have to look at your numbers. So first you have to know what the original number is, and then you subtract the new number, and then you have to divide. So this is a divide line. There's an I there. By then the original number again. So you have these two numbers and then the new number. And then of course you have to make it from the decimal to the percentage. So don't forget to multiply by 100. So here's an example of calculating the elastic demand. So we saw the formula. Now let's look at it in practice. So first of all, let's look at this graph right here. So as you can see, if we have here our first original point, and then we have our new point, we have our spots. So we have quantity demanded down here, and then we have the price over here. So there's only a change in $1, but as you can see, then there's a change in quantity demanded. So our graph is a little bit more, it's not as steep. The slope is more graduated. That's because the points are a little bit more spread out. And so you have a small change in price could equal a huge change in demand. So let's look at how it looks with the numbers. So if we're going to decrease the price from $4 to $3, we first have to find the percent. So we take original number, subtract the new number, divide by original, multiply by 100, and we get 25. So 25%. Then we have to be able to know what the quantity demanded. So then we have to do our formula again to find the percent. So original number, new number, divided by the original number, and then multiply by 100 to get 100%. So obviously there's a huge change in the demand based on the price. Now, of course, then we need to do the elasticity. So that means we take that percentage change in quantity demanded, and then we take the percentage change in price, divide them by each other, and then that equals our number. So it is basically, we're going to look at these values again, but if it's greater than 1 when I enter in that final step, then basically a small decrease in price, and that is a horrible line, is going to mean a large increase in the quantity demanded. So anything greater than 1, greater or equal to, or no, just greater, anything greater than 1 is going to be something that's elastic. We're going to see that larger change in quantity. So if it's inelastic, remember those things that have a very small reaction or no reaction at all. So first you have this particular graph. As you see, it's steeper of a slope, and that's because you see a less change on the x-axis, on the quantity, and a greater change on the price. So even with a $4 price change, there wasn't a huge increase. There was only a small increase. So this is what it looks like in the graph representation. So let's look at what it looks like in calculating it. So we're going from $6 to $2. So we would need to do the percentage change in price first. So you have the original price, subtract the new price, and then divide by the original again. And then of course you have to make it a percent. So never forget to times by 100 to make it 67%. So then we want to look at the quantity demanded change. And if we take the old number, subtract the new number, divide by the old number. Now in this one, you will see that if I were to subtract 15 from 10, I actually get a -5. Well, we don't deal with negatives. So we actually do the absolute value on top and then divide by the original number because our percentage is going to be a positive. So just basically ignore negative numbers. 10 minus 15 would technically be -5, but we're just going to say it's 5. So then if we enter in the elasticity formula, which is the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by, so that is percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price, is going to equal 0.075. As you can see, that's less than 1. So if anything is less than 1, it's considered inelastic. We don't see a huge change in the quantity demanded when we change the price. So let's look at those values again. If it's greater than 1, it's elastic. Higher the number, the more consumers have responded to price change. If it's less than 1, then it's inelastic. Smaller the number, less consumers have responded. There is, of course, times when it's going to be exactly equal to 1. There is a term for that. It's considered unit or unitary. So they're basically an equal change in quantity of change, percentage change in price, and a percentage change in quantity demanded. And that can happen. And so that basically means that it's just going to be something that's kind of still going to see a response, but you really can't say it's a large response. So it's not elastic, nor is it inelastic.